Recovery efforts continue on Maui. The Lahaina Fire 911 tapes provide more evidence of how motorists were stuck on Front Street and Baker Street 1.5 hours after the 2:50 p.m. flare-up was called in. KIT4's Jeremy Lee met with one survivor who captured the scene on Baker Street. And Jeremy, you were shown evidence for the first time of an evacuation alert.
That's right, Leah. What's so unusual about this wireless emergency alert text message is that Noelani Tot received it at 4:17 p.m. near Front Street. The evacuation order is only for the 3-block by 4-block subdivision of Kilauea Mauka, located a little over a mile uphill from Front Street, just Mackay of the bypass. What's more, we haven't found anybody yet who lives in Kilauea Mauka who actually received this text alert. But Noelani Tot told me she received it while on Baker Street, where she and her kids were stuck in gridlock and soon surrounded by burning buildings. The mother of 3 ended up there after they were unable to access Highway 30 off Lahaina Luna Road.
There was a police officer at the bottom. There was cones blocking the road if you wanted to drive like towards Kaanapali and Napili side. Myself and the line of traffic I was in continued straight down Lahaina Luna Road, headed towards Front Street.
911 emergency, how can I help you?
I'm calling down from Lahaina. We're on Front Street in Baker. There are a bunch of cars stuck in traffic down here, and the structures around us are on fire.
You were just stuck. There was nowhere to go, and there was no help.
Noelani Tot took video of Baker Street as the fire moved within 1 block of Front Street.
By about 4:10, we get to Baker Street. At 4:17 is when we got that emergency alert.
The text message Noelani received from Maui Emergency Management reads, "Evacuation order issued on Maui Island for Kilauea Mauka subdivision in Lahaina, a neighborhood a mile away."
You are not safe. You gotta find some way to get to the ocean.
The mother of 3 says she even started contemplating going into the water as traffic stalled and conditions worsened.
By 4:24, we were engulfed in black smoke. You can't see more than 4 cars ahead of you. Sparks start engulfing the car, shooting sideways across next to the cars. Shortly after that is when the parking garage at the outlet mall went up.
Okay. And nobody was there actively fighting the fire. Firefighters were seen here a mile away at 4:46 p.m. by Tamura's in the industrial complex. Meanwhile, Front Street becomes engulfed.
My 5-year-old just cried the entire time.
Oh no, what do we do now?
And it wasn't until after we got to like behind Safeway where he could see a little bit of blue skies that finally he fell asleep too because he was just so tired. There were so many people behind me that I have no idea whether or not they survived.
Noelani Tot is still asking the question so many other survivors are. Why was an incoming traffic contraflowed? Why was Highway 30 shut for at least 2.5 hours?
I mean, at that point, it just seems like you need to use the biggest roads to get the most people out. Ended up getting all the way to the end where you could have tried to get out, and then there was police officers there in cones.
And how was it a wider text alert didn't go out with this advice 911 operators offered to evacuees?
Just get out of Lahaina.
The entire city?
The entire city, yes. Just get out of Lahaina.
Noelani Tot and the 3 kids made it to the end of Front Street at 6 p.m., then past the Front Street roadblock. She said the police officer trying to manage the intersection appeared overwhelmed, adding to the strangeness of it all. She says when her ohana finally arrived in Napili later that night, those she spoke to there had no idea what was happening to the south in Lahaina town. Reporting live.
Hey there, Patriots. This is Shortlow Patriot coming at you with another one. A couple of things. I want to apologize for not putting out a little more content this past week. Things have been kind of hectic. And I haven't really put anything out about Maui. It's been strange with the media and the information that's been coming out. It's been coming out in small bits and pieces now. But in all honesty, I had said videos ago, weeks ago, that that's what was going to happen. Okay? That it was going to be the biggest thing and get smaller and smaller and smaller until they just try to make it just completely fade away. But one thing has stayed consistent, and it's something that I've been talking about, and that is the contradiction of the officials putting out their story. Okay. Before I continue with that, I just want to say thank you to all my new subscribers, both here and on Rumble. I'm up to 320 subscribers as of today. That's great. I'm trying to build up the channel, another 180, and I'll reach 500. That'd be great. So don't forget to please comment, like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and definitely please hit the notification bell. I'll tell you why. It seems like all of a sudden, all over again, every video I put out is beginning to say no views when anybody looks up my channel name. YouTube, says that it was a glitch and they fixed it, but it's happening all over again. So I've been noticing a drop in my views, and I don't know what that's all about. But to all my subscribers, if you watch this video and you pass it around, please put the notification bell so like that when I drop a video you can see it. So with that being said, I have two things to talk about, to show you today. One is about this report right here, okay, with Maui, and the time frame, the emergency alerts that didn't go out, the contradiction of the officials, especially like the mayor and other people that are saying that they were trying to warn people. Now, you heard what this woman just said. You've seen the timeline. The time frame was 3:28, I believe, and you could see the chaos that was there. The second one was 4:28. You could see the chaos. The next one was around 5 o'clock. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because in one of my previous videos, I showed that the mayor said at about 4:30, he was putting out a statement saying that everything was fine in Lahaina, that the roads are open and clear for people to come in and leave, or to go in, I believe, Lahaina. That was around 4:30. This woman obviously showed the video from 4:28, and you could see the chaos that was going on. Okay, the reason why I bring that up, I'm going to show you another clip. Now, this clip right here came out 6 days ago. It was reported. This gentleman, he's been on the news on this topic, and he's doing a great job. This was 6 days ago. The next clip I'm going to show you from the mayor was about the same time or right after that. And you're going to have to listen to what he says, his rendition, when it comes to him saying that, how can I say, that basically that he was on top of things. But the incompetence and the contradictions that come out of his mouth, I'm just not understanding anymore. Why doesn't it stop? The second thing I want to talk to you is about what's going on in the burn zone. But before we get to that, I'm going to show you the next clip. Now, this clip was taken 3 days ago. The first clip was 6 days ago. Listen to this.
Account of August 8th and when he realized the severity of the Lahaina fires. Eddie Dow joins us with the new details. Eddie.
Mayor Bisson, in an interview with Spotlight Now, got emotional when recalling what he remembers about the events of August 8th, sharing for the first time the moment he realized Lahaina was in much more danger than originally thought. Maui Mayor Richard Bisson says August 8th started with an early morning text on his phone.
Telling me that a house was on fire in Kula. The reason I was getting a call is they were going to start to evacuate areas of Kula, and they wanted permission to open a shelter. So of course I said yes. Let's.
Now, if anybody remembers any of my past videos, when I showed the strangeness of the fires in Kula, you'll see that a lot of the fires were basically contained, like in certain spots. And I showed how a lot of these spots were being surrounded by trees and all kinds of brush, and nothing burned, just the houses that were dead center in the middle. Now, here's my thing. If those fires were happening like that in Kula, okay, how did those fires reach all the way to Lahaina? Okay, and become so severe that nobody was on the ground to warn the mayor, the governor, whoever it was, and say, listen, we have a problem. We need to start an evacuation process. We have a real problem here. Because for the life of me, I can't understand a few things. One of them I'll just briefly say. You mean to tell me with all these fires that were happening, the way the fires were spreading so fast going down to Lahaina, that the phones weren't flooded with people calling in these fires? That emergency services numbers, the fire department, the police department, I mean, whoever it was, that their phones were not ringing off the hook with people, you know, panicking, calling in these fires that are happening? Because this just wasn't a fire that happened in one spot. No, this fire was bouncing from place to place as if picking and choosing where it wanted to. And if that's the case, if those phone calls were made, the mayor, the governor, the fire chief, the police chief, nobody could put the correlation together. Nobody could put two and two together and say, we have a major problem here. You know, if you live in the big city, I don't know how many fires can happen in one day. I would assume something in New York City, there's got to be, I would say, I don't know, maybe 10. Okay, I don't know. There may be more. But there are fire departments in every borough, and everybody gets called in. If it's a major fire, they will call in fire departments from different boroughs to come and help. Okay? So if this mayor is saying that there was a fire in Kula, okay, then who was in charge of the fires in Lahaina? And if there was anybody there doing their job, how come they didn't notify the mayor or the governor? But let's continue.
Let's go do that.
According to Maui County, the mayor was in and out of the Emergency Operations Center throughout the day.
The focus the whole day was on what was happening in Kula.
The mayor says he was alerted to a separate fire in Lahaina that morning, but was told it had been contained. He says it wasn't until the evening that he realized the situation in Lahaina was much worse.
How can he say that he realized in the evening that it was much worse? How can he say that? Now, this was 3 days ago. The lady that I just showed, that interview came out 6 days ago. She has the actual footage of a time frame. 3:30, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Do you see the contradiction here, what I'm saying, people? How did this man go to bed at night and say, you know what? I didn't know the severity till I went to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and I woke up at 3, and that's when the police department and everything, you know, started clicking in saying, well, we have a problem. When all the video shows, not just from that lady, from many different people, many different angles, that this was happening beginning from right after the afternoon. I believe it was a little after 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and it just got worse and worse and worse. I mean, every hour after that. So how can he come out and say that he didn't know the severity until late that night? Did you see the people in the water? Did you see that town ablaze? This does not happen. Look at this. Look at this blaze. This is insane.
You realize the situation
Look at this.
in Lahaina?
This doesn't happen in an hour.
For me,
This is why I keep saying that these people keep contradicting themselves. And it for the life of me, it's just like, just say the truth already. But let's continue.
that moment would have been when one of the fire units did not call back in. As far as what time it was, oh gosh, we'd have to look at the record to see what time it was. But the chief.
Did you hear that? He said we have to look at the record to see what time it was. Let me tell you something. This wasn't a house that caught fire, a one-off. How can you not have it embedded in your head, nearly every single detail when it comes to time, with something this big that has happened? It's been, what, over 2 months already? Okay? He's been interviewed multiple times on the news, in the spotlight every single day. You mean to tell me that's the best you can say? Oh, I need to look at the timeline? Those times should be in your head all day long. But let's continue.
I had gotten up, and he left the table he was at, and he had walked to one of the other rooms. There are maybe 4 outside rooms in addition to the meeting room we have. So there's a lunchroom, there's an office room, there's other rooms. So he had gone to another room, and I didn't know if it was to be more quiet or what happened. And then I followed him, and that's when he told me that the truck had not reported back.
The mayor says the county set up a shelter at the Lahaina Civic Center at some point in the night, but even that area became compromised.
People went there, and then the fire threatened that location. That is our evacuation center. So in the middle of the night, those people were removed from there by bus and cars to go out to Kapalua.
Bisson also says at some point he tried to send staff from Wailuku over to West Maui.
We sent 2 of our folks from the EOC, Josiah Nishita, Zeke Kalua, got into our 2 trucks. They went to Long's, they went to Safeway, they bought every case of water that was there, and they drove it out. So, anyway, but they got stopped along the way because the fire jumped the road.
The mayor says he went to sleep around 3:30 a.m., setting an alarm for 2 hours later. He says later that morning he received the grim news.
The chief sent a text to me, the chief of police, verifying that there were deaths.
Okay. This is just ridiculous. Okay? This is just straight up ridiculous. You know, he is on audio and video telling people that the roads to Lahaina were clear. This was about 4:30 in the afternoon. Meanwhile, that fire was raging and moving fast. You heard the news reporter before, him on the ground asking people. Nobody got an emergency text. So you had no sirens, no emergency text for any to go out. Okay? No evacuation. He's still trying to push the narrative as if all the main stuff that happened at night, because he went to bed at 3:30 in the morning. How do you go to sleep knowing? Because by then Lahaina was it was just a blaze. So how did he not know this information? You look at all the video, you see it's still daylight, and the place is an inferno. And this is the narrative that he keeps pushing, the governor keeps pushing, and Andaya keeps pushing, that all the main fire, like the biggest part of the fire, happened overnight, when all the proof contradicts what they're saying. That fire was ablaze during the day. And he has the nerve to say that he went to bed at 3:30 in the morning, and then he woke up to the police chief saying, oh, there were some deaths? Really? Some? So all that time is passing, Lahaina's on fire, people are dying, people are going missing, children are missing, let's not forget again. And the mayor doesn't know what time he was in contact, but he, went to bed. The police chief had his guys directing traffic in the wrong direction, blocking people. The proof is already out there. The governor has a different story. Andaya has a different story. Everybody has a different story except the main story of who's in control and how come everybody did not get together earlier in that day to evacuate thousands of people. It is incredible the way they're sticking to the story, the way they're sticking to their damn agenda. Okay, now that's the first part of the video I wanted to show you. The second part is something that I've been warning and telling people about, which is the burn zone. So I hope everybody is still with me. Okay. If you ask me, something is up with what's going on in the burn zone. So I'm going to play a clip, and then I'll put some context to it.
Preliminary ash result testing on Friday night from the Kula area. The ash samples were collected on September 21st from 8 homes. And those homes ranged in age from about the 1930s to the 2000s. Those results did indicate exceedances of high levels of lead and cobalt and extremely high levels of arsenic.
Well, that's the Hawaii Department of Health commenting on the preliminary data from ash sampling following the Maui fires. The ash samples were collected in September from 8 burned homes in Kula. The initial results show very high levels of arsenic as well as lead and cobalt. Now, according to the initial data, health officials believe Lahaina's results will likely be the same. Again, this data has not yet been validated and final results have not yet been released.
Okay. Did you guys catch that right there? Okay, they found these toxic substances, okay, in 8 homes. And now she's saying that the report says that they know that the levels in Lahaina will be the same. Is everybody still with me and paying attention to what's going on? Let's continue.
State health officials say the greatest concern is arsenic at 140 times higher than the environmental action level. Long-term exposure to arsenic can cause skin problems, heart problems, and skin cancers. If you're going into an area impacted by the fires, you are advised to wear personal protective equipment and wash off any items removed from the area.
The DOH and its partners have consistently been communicating the importance of protective measures regarding the ash, which is known to be hazardous. The presence of those substances is not surprising, but the concentrations are indeed high, which only reinforces the need to follow the precautionary measures that have been previously communicated. What we're going to do as a result, the arsenic, which is the greatest concern, is 140 times above the environmental action level, and a lot of this guidance is geared toward that.
The Department of Education continues to believe that reopening of our Lahaina schools for in-person learning is critical to the well-being of our students and to the Lahaina community. We've been reassured that our Lahaina campuses are safe for students and staff to be at, based on current air quality conditions and the extensive environmental testing we've done over the last several weeks. Since last week, we've been working closely with the Department of Health to update the DOE's health and safety guidance for our Lahaina schools, to take a more conservative approach whenever there's a change in air quality.
Now, the Department of Health is requesting some action from Maui County and the Environmental Protection Agency. In Lahaina, the DOH requested soil stabilizer and dust control agent to be used in impacted zones.
Okay. That's the first clip. Now I'm going to put my 2 cents into it. You know, they're over here talking about all these harsh chemicals, arsenic and cobalt and what have you. Okay? What I don't understand is, and I'm sure everybody's probably going to start thinking the same thing. Why in the world was there a black fence put up? Who were the people in the burn zone cleaning up? And what exactly did they clean up? I mean, think about it. Why were they there? I mean, because I put out in my other videos about how they were there, and you see the secret videos of them scrubbing down. So why exactly was the military there? Why exactly was FEMA there and the Red Cross and everybody cleaning up, and they had to put up a black fence? Why? Weren't they there to clean the place up? What exactly were they there for? Because now they're telling people to use caution, because now they find that, you know, the soil is contaminated. Or is it that that's going to be the new narrative now, and they're going to let it build up, and they're going to keep putting more tests out and say, no, it's too high now, it's way too high, it's going to take years to clean that area up? In other words, almost like what was that, a 3 Mile Island catastrophe, where the place is so polluted. I mean, you got stray animals that are breeding there, and they're coming out like all mutant looking dogs and cats or what have you. But that was a nuclear fallout. So you had the military there cleaning up. You have FEMA there. Okay, Red Cross, whoever it was that was out there cleaning up. They had everything closed. They had the jackboots stopping people from going in. They had people not being able to, you know, fly their drones over. It was a total media blackout. Then, just like that, they packed up shop, disappeared, told everybody, you can go back in. And now they're saying, but make sure you scrub down the right way, because there's cobalt and arsenic and this and that in the soil, and don't breathe it in. And what's next? If I had to guess, is what a lot of people have been saying. A land grab. Because think about it. If they start finding all these chemicals in Lahaina, in Maui, in the dirt, all these houses, they're not going to let anybody just go in and start cleaning up. Meaning homeowners, family, friends. Oh, no, no, no. You need, if anybody knows anything about chemical cleanup, you need special permits. You need to do it the right way. You need to be able to dispose of it the right way. And how much do you think that's going to cost the average person to do that? Think about that, people. This is what I think the way it's going to go down. Since you're not licensed and you don't have the money to hire a professional crew to come in, and since it's an island, it's not like a mainland, they don't have that many crews to come in and do the cleanup, you have one of two options. Sell the land to us so we can do it, because it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Or until you get the money and the permits, could take 10, 20 years before you can rebuild. Wait for that. Think about that. I'd be amazed if they'd start letting the average people, the people back in Lahaina, to start going in and just plowing everything out of the way. And I don't see that happening, and I'll tell you why. It would have been happening already. There would have been tons of natives there, just cleaning up all together as a community. The thing is, where do they dump all that debris? Has anybody noticed that they're letting people in? But has anybody seen the convoys of dump trucks to pick up all that debris? Because I haven't seen nothing yet. And nobody else has either. So where are they gonna put all that debris and send it? Do you see what's going on here, people? Think about that. I've been saying it for the longest. This is not over, not by a long shot. This is all still so highly suspect. And once again, what is the real death toll and where are the children? I'm True Outlaw Patriot. Hope you like the content. Please comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and please pass the channel around. Keep praying for the people of Maui, okay? Help them out in whichever reputable way you can. This is not over by a long shot, people. They've already started another narrative now. So pay attention. Till then, stay vigilant, keep praying, and keep praying for each other. Peace.